Hey, yeah. Oh, 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 yeah. Hey, yeah. Oh, 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 yeah. Hey, yeah. Oh, 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 yeah. Hey.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now, I didn't see anything really huge going on this week in the news. They tried to say Trump was dead, but they found out he wasn't. The media lies out their ass. They do it all the time. This is just another one that they lied about. Trump's not dead. Other than that, I really didn't. I know Red Sonja came out, and apparently, according to all the YouTubers, it's trash, which is to be expected. I may watch it and review it at some point in time, but I just haven't gotten around to getting to that. I can't think of anything else. Nothing that they're really going on about, except for the UK is falling. They talked about that, where some illegal people were trying to gang rape some like 12 and 13-year-olds. And they have video of this guy speaking English who was harassing him, and his sister beat the shit out of one of the little girls, 20-year-old, beat the crap out of her, and then because they were defending themselves, telling them to leave them alone. And she brandished some, like a knife and a hatchet or something, telling them back off, and they came at him anyway. And then she got arrested and blah blah blah. I don't know. It looked stupid. It was dumb. But anyways, the only other thing I saw was the guy who got beaten by the other wrestler or whatever. He's out of the hospital now, and there was no charges going to be pressed, even though he tried to kill him. And then the state police took over the investigation. Now charges are being pressed, and he's going to jail. But anyways, other than that, I don't remember seeing anything major. Let's get on to what I really want to talk to you about this week. So as I've said before, even if you don't watch the channel regularly and you've only seen a couple videos, or you don't watch it at all, it only takes 2 seconds to hit that subscribe button. It doesn't affect you or your channel whatsoever. It just helps this channel grow. So please subscribe. Also, I have another channel. It's called Easy Does It. The link is in the About section. Check it out if you like gaming vlogs and reviews and reactions to other YouTube channels. Okay. Again, subscribe. So I am, like I've said, I've got several shows on the back burner that I need to review, and I'll get to them all eventually. It's just, I'm only doing like one or so per week, so this week I'm just going to throw these three together. I got three of them to talk to you about, just because they all are part of the Walking Dead universe. Uh, they're spin-offs, and I'm still working on the Fear the Walking Dead or whatever. I'm like on season 5, I think. Anyways, I'll get to that one eventually too. But I'm not going to review the one with the two sisters or the Tales of the Walking Dead. Literally have nothing to do with the main show. But these three do. The first one I watched, which there's only one season. I'd like there to be more, because this is the best spin-off out of all of them as far as I'm concerned, is The Ones Who Live, where it continues the story of what happened to Rick Grimes. Michonne goes after him, trying to find him. She eventually does. But what's effed up is, like, almost to the end of the series, she's with this group of people who help her along the way, and then they all follow her and end up getting killed, every single one of them. She's promising them Alexandria and whatever, and then they all get killed. And the one guy, I was kind of a little ticked off, because he shows up to help her fight these guys off, to help get Rick, and then he dies just before he meets him. I was like, well, that's effed up. You don't even get to meet him. Anyways, Rick is in some type of, it's always some kind of other group, community, whatever you want to call them. But this one has military upgrade weapons and shit. The guy who's running the place is kind of a loon. And Rick turns on him. Now, the woman who saved him she's the trash can woman or whatever. She's a straight up loon. Well, I mean, she's a whack job. But she's basically holding him hostage is what she's doing in this community. And Michonne goes in there and tries to help get him out, even though he tries to steer her away. But in the end, they end up getting out. They end up killing the trash can woman and the main guy who leads the place. They're all nut jobs. And then he ends up getting to go home. Now here's the thing. The only people that greet him are the kids. Like his girl and his boy. Nobody else from Alexandria greets him. It's just the kids. So there's no closure. Nobody knows he's still alive. They all still think he's dead. So that's why I think they need to do another season of that, so that he can meet up with not only Morgan, but Daryl and Carol and I always forget her name, the one that's with Negan. But anyways, they need closure on that. Alright, moving on to the next one. The next one is called Dead City. This is another spin-off, and it's got Negan, and it's got Maggie. Maggie, that's her name, Maggie. It's got Maggie in it. And they basically, she uses Negan to infiltrate this Manhattan Island or whatever. And there's a group there that's just like, I don't know, they're whack jobs too. But one of the guys used to be with Negan, but they had a falling out. But she uses him to try to get her son, because her son's not necessarily been kidnapped, but he's being brainwashed by this woman who controls the city and these gangs that are in the city. Anyways, if they're not fighting among themselves, they're fighting these other gangs, and it's kind of ridiculous. It's more like it reminded me a little bit, not completely. I mean, there's a lot of differences, but it kind of reminded me of like Escape from New York. A little bit, not big, but just a little. But yeah, they're constant. Maggie is constantly stabbing Negan in the back, and Negan's constantly trying to help her. It's like, what the fuck, bitch? It's like, I'm constantly helping you. I've shown you that I'm here to protect your son, but you keep stabbing me in the back trying to kill me. You know, it's just, I get she's still pissed off about him killing Glenn, but you know, he's trying to make it. He's even got his own family now, so it's kind of fucked up. She's not all right in the fucking head. Anyways, they just got done with season 2 not long ago, and they're obviously going to have a season 3 the way they ended it. I'll watch it, but at the same time, I'm not too sure where they're going with that, because now the son is with the fucking old bat that fucking running the city, and she's still brainwashing him. And Maggie and Negan are having to fight this other group called, I can't remember what they are, but they got their own law, and they think they should rule everything, and they're having to fight them with the gangs of New York or whatever. It's ridiculous. We'll see what happens, but that's where we're at right now. They're getting ready for a fight. And then the third one is, of course, the Daryl Dixon spinoff. Now, I like the character of Daryl Dixon, but whoever came up with the idea that they should put his ass in fucking Europe and France is a fucking artard. I absolutely hate the women he kept running into, or the people kept running into, the French resistance group or whatever. It was just F-tarded. I absolutely hated all them characters. I didn't like any of these characters that they introduced on this show. It was dumb. The story's dumb. I don't like the story at all. Him trying to help some boy who thinks he's a savior or whatever, because they all think he's a savior because his mother got bit and he was born just before she turned, or just turned or whatever. But he didn't get the disease or the whatever turns him. He didn't turn as a baby. It's just dumb, because they literally clearly show if he gets bit, he's going to turn. So it's a dumb, the whole story's dumb. And then at the end of the second season, you know, Carol shows up. Why? Why Carol? She's the typical, soccer mom turns badass. You know, when she should have died long ago. I just don't buy it. I don't buy her character whatsoever. Anyways, she shows up to help him when it should have been Rick. Rick is the one who should have shown up, not her. Anyways, yeah, they left that off too, so you know there's going to be season 3 of it. You know, they go through this fucking, I don't know, these zombies that have been spooked with gas in this tunnel on their way to London. They're on their way to London. They're leaving France and they're heading for London. And that was the end of the second season. I don't know. I like the character Daryl Dixon. I don't like the Carol character. I absolutely can't stand that character. She's not a badass bitch. It's a retarded character. It always has been. Because she should have died from the very beginning. So, oh, I'm the little, you know, timid, abused fucking wife who soccer mom turns into a fucking badass Billy Bob, and now I'm killing everything. I have no feelings whatsoever. That's so stupid. I hate, and you see that in a ton of zombie flicks. Throughout the Walking Dead series, it's always some fucking, in all these series, it's always some badass fucking Billy Bob bitch who fucking, you know, she's all timid, and then later on she becomes this badass where she's the boss babe killing everybody. And the leaders all turn that way too. Whoever's writing this shit is a fucking feminist. I'm telling you, I don't care if it's a guy or a woman. They're a feminist. And they write unbelievable bullshit. But anyways, I don't recommend the Daryl series. It's not really that good. Dead City's okay, but again, if it wasn't for Negan, I wouldn't watch that show. It's just, I didn't like any of the characters in it either. Honestly. Terrible. Negan's the only good character in that whole fucking show. But The Ones Who Live, that was actually really good. I liked The Ones Who Live. It had some fucked up shit in it, but it was actually pretty decent. I got it. I got the whole series. I got the story. Whoever wrote that one did a good job. The rest of them, they've sucked. And don't even get me started. Wait till I give a review on the Fear of Walking Dead. If it wasn't for Morgan, I wouldn't be watching it. I'm telling you right now. But anyways, so that's why I definitely check out The Ones Who Live. Dead City, you can pass it up if you want. I mean, you can watch it, but it's not really that good of a show, except for Negan. And then I'm really pissed off the way they've gone with the Daryl Dixon thing, because they really fucking shitting on that character, and it really pisses me off. So I don't recommend it. It's not a good show. Okay, let's move on to your B-movie reviews. Alright, movie holics. This week is Sci-Fi week. We got a couple here. older movies. The first one is called The Hidden, and it stars Kyle MacLachlan and Michael Nouri. It was done in 1987. It only made about 9 million at the box office worldwide. So, I mean, it didn't do that great, and I could see why. It's not your typical sci-fi movie. There's a lot that wasn't explained in the movie. It was kind of an action flick too. If you ever seen the movie I Come in Peace with Dolph Lundgren, it's pretty much a similar plot. This alien dude, played by Kyle, he comes down to chase after another alien. Is basically what it is. Of course, he doesn't let on that he's an alien until way later in the movie. He comes in as an FBI agent, and Michael's character is a sergeant in the police force, and he gets his help to track down this alien who jumps from body to body, just going on a killing spree, having fun because he can do it. And the alien looks like some type of squid looking creature, you know, this blob with fucking tentacles or whatever. And the way he jumps from body to body, he has to do it through the mouth. You know, he enters in through the mouth. And then he takes over the body. And he does it several times in the movie. Apparently he did it several times before that too. That's why he's been tracking him. He's finally tracked him down. But you know, Michael's character at first, he doesn't realize what's going on. But he kind of follows along because he's FBI. But then he's all like, what the fuck, man? Something's going on. You're going to tell me what the hell's going on. How can this dude be killing this dude? And then all of a sudden it's this dude who's killing this dude, you know, blah, blah, blah. He wants to know, why is it every time he turns around, it's some guy who's, you know, a decent citizen. All of a sudden he's going on a rampage. So he kind of eventually has to tell him what's going on. But he really doesn't tell him what's going on until he sees the weapon that he brought, with an alien weapon. And then he tells him it doesn't work on human physiology. He has to wait for the alien to come out of the body before he can use it on him. Which he eventually, towards the end, he does. He eventually gets him. He torches this dude, and then the alien has to get out of the body. And then he zaps him. And that's pretty much the end of the movie, you know. Literally, that's how they end it. Like, he zaps that dude, and then, you know, well, okay, there's one scene where at the very end where he shows up because the alien shot Michael's character, and Michael has this family of his wife and this little girl, and this little girl kind of knows that he's you know, Kyle's an alien. Well, Kyle, he's got some healing ability or some shit, and he knows that Michael's gonna die, so he kind of takes over his body. So he becomes, you know, Michael's character, and that's the end of the movie. It was an okay movie. It wasn't bad. I think it was overlooked because it just, I don't know, it just, a lot of the alien crap isn't explained. They're talking about a bunch of alien shit to each other when they're fighting, but none of it's really explained. It was an okay movie. It was decent. for what it was. Uh, I've never been a fan of this Kyle MacLachlan. Uh, Even when he starred in Dune, the original Dune, I I just I don't know. His acting is very stone faced. He don't show a lot of emotion, that kind of shit. So I don't know. I've never been a fan of his. Otherwise, the movie was okay. You know, it had some action scenes in it, so it keeps you interested until the end. Uh, so you know, it's not a great movie, but it's not horrible. Like, I recommend it for a one-time watch. I give it a thumbs up and thumbs down. The acting wasn't horrible except for Kyle. The rest of the cast was fairly decent acting. So, in the story, it's been done before, so it wasn't like really new or anything. That's probably why I really didn't think it was all like The Rage or whatever, you know. But I could see why it got passed over. It just, I don't think it was a lot of people's forte back then. So, okay, the next one I watched is called The Manitou, and it stars Tony Curtis and Susan Strasberg. It was done in 1978, and it made about $2 million. Not a lot of people got into this one, and I can see why, but honestly, I think it was actually, I don't understand why it didn't do so well, because it was a lot better than all that fucking stupid ass fucking, you know, religious devil crap that they would put out in the 70s. There's so many of those. And the Dracula movies, the vampire movies. Jeez, it's like what all they did was like vampire and religious crap. Devil shit, you know. It's just, there was a ton of them in the 70s for horror. This isn't really, it could be labeled as a horror flick because it did have some horror elements in it. But this is more of a sci-fi flick, I think. It has to do with the supernatural shit. Anyways, the story is there's a woman that Tony Curtis is seeing, and her name's like Karen or whatever. That's Susan's character. Anyway, she starts growing this, what they think is a tumor at first, on the back of her neck. Well, it comes to find out, it's actually a fetus. And he's all like, what the fuck? Like, they'd never heard of that before. A fetus growing out, on somebody's body. And it's getting larger and it's growing faster. Well, Tony's character is kind of, he's a con man. He does the whole fortune telling thing, you know. But he knows a little bit of the cult. And he goes and sees someone about it. And they're reading him a book that mentions something to do with a Manitou, which is like some evil witch doctor. So he finds the guy, the professor who wrote the book, and the professor tells him, well, you need to find a medicine man, because that's what that is. The Manitou, he's a medicine man. He's an evil medicine man, you know. So he goes and finds this guy, Native American, named John Singing Rock or some shit like that. And he convinces him to fucking help him take care of this medicine man, you know, fight medicine man to medicine man. Well, John Singing Rock finds out that the medicine man is this old, very, very old, ancient medicine man who's extreme. Like, he's always, in the legends, he's always been the most powerful medicine man that he can think of, he's ever heard of. So he ends up having this battle with him. and the evil medicine man, he does come out, but he can't gain his full power until, you know, I don't know. He's got to have time to gain his full power, and they try to fight him, keep him from doing that. And it's just some little midget dude with effed up eyes, and he's like causing havoc in this hospital or some shit. And he summons up supposedly Lucifer or something to help him fight. I'm like, okay, now we're getting a bit ridiculous. And then they decide to use all the machines, because this medicine man's never seen technology before. So they decide to use all the machines in the hospital to fight back with him. But they can't do it. But for some reason, they link to the woman, and the woman's able to fucking, out of just the blue, she's able to shoot fucking laser beams from her fucking hands, you know, and fight this dude, and then fight Lucifer and destroy them both. And that's the end of the movie. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Absolutely. It was absolutely asinine ridiculous. But even so, I liked the movie. It was corny and cheesy, but it was actually pretty good. I liked it. I thought it was kind of cool. I'd never seen anything like this. This was completely new. I never heard of or seen anything like it. So it was cool. I was like, this is a cool story. They should redo this movie, remake it, you know, make it more modern, but not with the feminist crap. Get a decent writer. But yeah, this is a really cool movie. To be honest, even though it was 70s cheese. But yeah, everybody lives happily ever after at the end of the movie. Definitely check it out. I highly recommend it if you're into weird, bizarre stories that actually told pretty decently on the film. Now you have to get past the halfway point, because the very front half of the movie is kind of slow. You don't really start getting some action into this movie until John Singing Rock shows up, and he don't go get him till about halfway through the movie. So I highly recommend this one if you're into, like I said, if you're into weird and bizarre stories. Definitely something different you've probably never seen before. Definitely check out. I give this movie 2 thumbs up. It was a really good movie. I liked it. Anyways, that's all I have for you this week. If you have any thoughts about what I talked about earlier in the video, please leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you could think of any underrated or B movies, that's my forte. I very rarely do A-list movies, but I do them every now and then. But I like the ones that most people have never even heard of or don't even know about. If you can think of any of those, please leave your suggestions down in the comment section down below, and I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. So until next time, I told you be told the truth, and you just been told.